Hi, my name is Annemarie Zethoff.
And I am Martijn van Pietersson. We are the owners of Indépendance by IBASHO. The gallery mainly focuses on photography where materiality, craftsmanship and an understated aesthetic are center stage. Contrary to the Japanese-focused gallery IBASHO, Indépendance will mostly show works by Western artists. We are proud to present to you our first group exhibition called The Alternative Landscape.
Albarán Cabrera, the Spanish photographic duo Ángel Albarán and Ana Cabrera, approach landscape photography as a philosophical and sensory exploration rather than mere documentation. Their work delves into themes of memory, identity and perception, aiming to evoke subconscious associations and invite viewers to experience familiar places as if seeing them for the very first time. Influenced by both Western and Eastern thinkers and artists, they view photography as a tool to investigate reality's underlying structure. Their photographs are not just representations, but are crafted objects that embody their philosophical inquiries. Through their unique printing techniques, such as using handmade Japanese gampi paper and gold leaf, they transform landscapes into luminous, abstract forms that challenge traditional perceptions and invite a deeper contemplation of the natural world.
Created using cameraless and analog photographic processes, the diptych was made in direct collaboration with natural elements such as sunlight, polluted seawater and disturbed soil. These forces leave unpredictable traces on the surface of archival watercolor paper, producing images that hover between abstraction and landscape. They are fragile, yet resilient, echoing both vulnerability and endurance. Next to this work is The Most Beautiful Anthropocene, a triptych from an ongoing series in which emerge 19th century techniques such as cyanotype and lumen printing, with sustainable, site-responsive practices. Here, I again use polluted seawater, acidic rainfall, disturbed soil and vulnerable plant matter to create images that are literally infused with the environmental conditions of each site. The resulting works are ecological imprints shaped by collaboration between human intention and environmental agency.
I create my images totally cameraless. I was already experimenting with this technique, but during the COVID pandemic, it became my full focus. In my darkroom, I could travel to imaginary places. So what you see here are not real landscapes, but illusions of places that don't truly exist. The process I use is called Van Dyck Brown. It's a very slow process. I mix the chemicals by hand, brush the emulsion onto paper, and then expose it to UV light, sometimes for hours. During exposure, I play with light and shadow. I use my body or whatever I have at hand to shape the light and create these illusions of landscapes. My images are not about what you can see directly, but about what exists beyond it, in imagination, in memory, or in longing.
The French photographer Thierry Cohen reinterprets the landscape in his series Carbon Catchers, which examines humanity's relationship to its habitats and the role of forests as crucial carbon reservoirs. Cohen's work blends documentary and fiction. Documentary as he explores primary forest with ancient trees and wetlands, swamp forests in Virginia and Louisiana that once sheltered enslaved people, or a remote Japanese island in the East China Sea. Fictional in its portrayal of nights at the forest hearts, far from cities where darkness evokes a universal night connecting us all, a night that is disappearing. Each work is a hybrid in which Cohen stitches sky and earth, returning the stars to the forest. He captures these stars from areas free of light pollution, at the same latitude as the forests, sometimes from their very edges when they lie far enough from the cities. At night, the forest becomes a mysterious living world where darkness blurs reality and imagination beneath the stars.
I'm happy to take part in this exhibition with a selection from my ongoing series Gaia. The title comes from a hypothesis proposed in the 70s that describes Earth as a self-regulating system where the planet and all the living beings interact to keep conditions that make life possible. In my work I use diptychs, placing side-by-side images of natural elements from the landscape where I live. What interests me is what happens between them, the links, the echoes, the way they resonate and create something new together. Sometimes I seem to find a balance, a wholeness that goes beyond the sum of the parts. For me, it's both an invitation to imagine and also a reminder of the subtle connections in nature and of the fragile balance we belong to.
The Belgian Bert Dankaert is renowned for his minimalist and architectural photography, capturing the interplay of light, form and color in everyday scenes. Dankaert's approach to photography is characterized by a keen observation of urban spaces, seeking out moments of stillness and subtle beauty. His work is not just about capturing images, but about engaging with the environment and reflecting on the spaces he photographs. Dankaert's ongoing series Teatros reflects his engagement with Cuban architecture. This series focuses on the facades of cinemas in Havana, capturing the city's evolving urban landscape. The work demonstrates a shift in Dankaert's style, moving from tight urban fragments to broader architectural compositions, highlighting the dynamic interplay between the city's past and present. Teatros is part of a major new project to be unveiled in 2026, El Jardín de los Cerezos, in which Dankaert transforms often overlooked urban spaces in Havana, such as the theaters, churches and classrooms, into visually layered tableaux.
My work always starts with the material and the process of photography, but with a painterly and installation approach. In the Archipelago series, I make gelatin silver prints by using the light of the smartphone inside the larger. It's a conceptual work dealing with the repetition of images we see in our devices. There is always the same image printed behind the painted glass, but in this repetition, what you actually see is something completely different every time. Chance also plays an important role in my work. As you can see in celestial bodies, there are sculptures made with plaster and cyanotype. They are unfixed and they will change their color over time.
This view on Antwerp is part of a cityscape series I'm working on, the footsteps of Jan van Goyen, 17th century painter. He was based in Leiden in his youth and later moved to Den Haag, and from there he painted Antwerp, Den Haag, Dordrecht, a lot of cities that were relevant at that time. I tried to keep the same bird's eye perspective, and I tried to present it in an old-fashioned way, but a new city. So for Antwerp, I used a helicopter. I took different shots, different angles, and I thought I needed a lot of water because water is important to the city. Also, Jan van Goyen used a lot of water and anchor points like churches, cathedrals in his paintings. So I tried to do the same thing. It's printed on a transparent material where I don't want transparency. I paint white behind it. And through the transparency, you can see a gold leaf background reflecting the surrounding light. That's pretty much the technical aspect of it. I finish it off with a layer of craquelé, referencing time as all photographers and painters. They freeze a moment in time and eternalize it.
During a hike deep into a Swiss glacier, Dutch photographer Margaret Lansing was overwhelmed by its monumental presence and haunting beauty. But beneath that beauty, she sensed a quiet devastation. The glacier, despite its seeming strength, is slowly and irreversibly disappearing. The distant sound of rocks, once held within the ice, now tumbling down, made that loss tangible. This experience stayed with her and formed the foundation for these sculptural works. Using layered photographs printed on washi paper and transparent film, she built each piece between sheets of acrylic glass, echoing the inner structure of the glacier itself: time, pressure, memory. The layers are then gently poured over with resin, creating a visual suggestion of melting ice, as if the glacier continues to move and transform, even within the work. Through her work, she hopes to evoke what she felt there: a deep admiration for what still exists, and a quiet unease about what we may be losing, but also a sense of trust, that in awareness and attention lies a gentle power, that by truly seeing and feeling, we can begin to care more deeply.
My contribution to the exhibition is Spaceman Lost Your Way. It's a long-term project inspired by my love of science fiction that goes back to my childhood. And I took that love of science fiction storytelling and interpret in a photographic medium. I imagined a ship crash landing in a remote region not dissimilar to our Earth. The landscapes are desolate though, and the skies have this almost post-apocalyptic color. I did all of these photographs in the darkroom. I've been working on it for 5 years. Carl Sagan, the astronomer, once said, "Sometimes I think we are alone, and sometimes I think we're not." In either case, the idea is quite staggering. That idea of the universe was a big inspiration for Spaceman Lost Your Way.